Listen to me. I don't care how talented you are. I don't care how gifted you think you are. If you don't have consistency and discipline, your talent won't take you far. You see, talent might get you in the room, but consistency is what keeps you there. Discipline is what elevates you. And consistency, that's how you dominate. Everybody wants to be a beast until it's time to do what beasts do. You say you want success, but are you showing up every single day? Are you putting in the reps when nobody's watching? Are you grinding when there's no applause, no spotlight? Let me tell you something. Success ain't about what you do once. Success is about what you do daily. You don't get in shape by going to the gym once. You don't get rich by working hard one weekend. You get there by grinding every single day. Discipline is choosing between what you want now and what you want most. You gotta kill those distractions. You gotta silence that inner voice that says to sleep in. You gotta push past the pain, push past the laziness, push past the comfort. Consistency means showing up even when you don't feel like it. Especially when you don't feel like it. That's when growth happens. That's when greatness is born. Not when it's easy, but when it's hard. Some of you want success so bad, but you're only giving 50%. You can't expect 100% results from 50% effort. You want to be the best? Then be disciplined enough to say no to distraction. Be consistent enough to say yes to the grind. Every single day. You got to fall in love with the process, not just the prize. Because when you focus on the process, when you stay disciplined, when you stay consistent, the prize will come. It has no choice. So stop waiting for motivation. Stop waiting for perfect timing. Get up, be disciplined, be consistent. Because average is easy, but greatness is a lifestyle. You keep talking about your goals. You keep talking about your dreams. You keep talking about how bad you want it, how you're gonna do big things, how you're gonna change your life. But let me tell you something, talk is cheap. Goals don't mean nothing without execution. And execution requires discipline. Yeah, I said it. Discipline, not hype, not motivation, not talent, not just hustle. It takes disciplines to bridge, the only bridge between where you are right now and where you say you want to be. You can have all the dreams in the world, but if you don't have the self-control to wake up early, to sacrifice your comfort, to say no to the things that don't serve your purpose, then guess what? That dream dies right there. It dies in the land of almost. It dies in the realm of a someday. Because discipline is the currency of success. You don't get to the top because you felt like it. You get to the top because you train like it. You live like it. You put in work when others were sleeping. You study when others were partying. You push forward when every part of you wanted to quit. That's discipline. See, we've got a generation that's addicted to feelings. I don't feel like it. I'm not motivated. I'll start next week. You think success waits for your emotions to align. You think greatness cares about how you feel today? No, it doesn't care. The world doesn't care if you're tired. The world doesn't care if you're discouraged. All it cares about is whether you show up or not. That's it. That's the truth. Because discipline isn't about what feels good. It's about doing what's right, even when it feels wrong. It's about making decisions that align with your purpose, not your pleasure. I remember sleeping in abandoned buildings. I remember eating out of trash cans. Remember when nobody knew my name? You think I got out of that because I was motivated every day? You think I broke out of poverty because I felt like grinding? No, man. It was discipline. It was waking up every single day, doing the same thing over and over, mastering my craft when nobody was watching, when nobody was clapping, when nobody believed in me. That's discipline. You want it? Then show me. Don't tell me. Show me by how you live. Show me by what you do when the cameras are off. You see, goals are just dreams with a deadline. But discipline is what turns that deadline into destiny. It's easy to set a goal. Anybody can write down, I want to lose 20 pounds. Or I want to start a business. That takes 30 seconds. You know what's hard? Going to the gym every single day, even when your body aches. Skipping those late night snacks. Waking up at 5 a.m. to read, to plan, to prepare, to build. It's the grind. That's the sacrifice. That's discipline. You want freedom. You want success. You want to walk across that stage, cash that check, build that empire. You better fall in love with doing the things other people don't want to do. You better fall in love with boredom, with repetition, with early mornings and late nights, with lonely hours spent grinding while your friends are out living it up. Because that's what winners do. That's what disciplined people do. They commit not when it's easy, but when it's hard. So no, you don't need another vision board. You don't need another motivational video. You need discipline. You need to tell yourself, I'm gonna do it even if I hate it today, even if I'm tired, even if I wanna cry, I'm gonna do it because I made a promise to myself. That's the game changer. That's the separator. That's the moment you become dangerous. That's the moment when you stop being average and start being elite. Not because you're the most talented, but because you're the most committed. Discipline ain't sexy. It ain't glamorous. It's not loud. It's silent. It's behind the scenes. It's the alarm clock at 4:30 a.m. It's the book you read instead of scrolling. It's the practice you do after practice. It's the meal prep, the hard choices, the consistency. But in the end, discipline always wins, always. Everybody wants to go hard for one day. Everybody wants to pull an all-nighter, hit the gym for 3 hours, grind for 10 hours straight. One time, you want to post it, put it on your story, show people how hungry you are. But hear me and hear me clear. One day of intensity will never outwork 1 year of consistency. That quick burst of energy don't mean nothing if you can't keep showing up day after day after day. It's easy to sprint, but can you run the marathon? See, consistency, that's what builds empires. That's what makes legends. It's not about how hard you hit one time. It's about how many times you can keep hitting. When you're tired, when you're uninspired, when nobody's cheering you on. That's the truth. They're the ones who showed up on the days it didn't make sense. They're the ones who kept stacking bricks when no one saw the wall. You think the greats got great because they had tense moments. No, they got great because they kept going. Michael Jordan wasn't shooting 1,000 shots just on game days. Kobe wasn't working out hard only when he felt good. Serena didn't serve fire only when the cameras were on. It was every day. Repetition, routine, ritual. That's what consistency is. It's boring. It's quiet, but it's powerful. Intensity feels good in the moment. It's sexy. It's loud. It gets applause. But consistency is different. It's silence, lonely, and it don't get likes on social media. It's those early mornings where nobody's awake. It's those long nights when you're grinding while everybody else is sleeping. It's not glamorous, but it's necessary. That's the difference between people who talk about it and the people who live it. Let me ask you something. Can you be consistent when it's not convenient? Can you show up when it's cold, when it's raining, when you got no energy, when your bank account is empty, when your heart is broken? Because that's when real character shows up. That's when consistency earns its value. Anybody can be intense when things are going right. But consistency is being disciplined when everything's going wrong. You got to stop thinking success is about going hard once in a while. Stop thinking that one great workout, one long study session, one good day of business is enough. It's not, that's the lie. Success isn't one explosive moment. It's the result of a million small actions, a million ordinary days, a million boring choices that compound into something extraordinary. You don't get results from what you do occasionally. You get results from what you do consistently. Consistency is hard because it demands patience. You don't see the reward right away. You grind, and nothing seems to happen. You put in work and get no praise, no recognition. Well, let me tell you something. Just because you don't see the fruit yet doesn't mean the seed isn't growing. You water that seed every day. You trust the process. And one day, boom, breakthrough, but only if you stay consistent. I'm not impressed with how fired up you are today. I want to know, what are you doing tomorrow? What are you doing next week? Will you still be grinding when the buzz wears off? Will you still be pushing when the motivation disappears? That's where winners live, in the repetition, in the monotony, in the daily decision to keep moving. Let me break it down. Intensity might get you noticed, but consistency gets you respected. Intensity can make a moment, but consistency builds a legacy. You want to change your body, your life, your mind, your bank account. Then stop trying to go hard once and start going consistently forever. Make it a habit. Make it a part of who you are. make it your identity. Because you don't rise to the level of your passion. You fall to the level of your patterns. So build better patterns. Create better routines. Commit to the boring stuff. Because the people who win, they ain't the loudest. They're the most consistent. Show me what you do when no one's looking. That's who you really are. Everybody gets excited in the beginning. Everybody starts off with fire. You write down your goals on January 1st, and you say, this year is gonna be different. You get that new gym membership. You buy the planner. You download all the apps. You get motivated. You feel inspired. And for the first few days, maybe even a couple of weeks, you're all in. You're locked in. But what happens when the motivation fades? What happens when you wake up one morning and you don't feel that spark anymore? That's where discipline steps in. Motivation will get you out of bed, but discipline will keep you up when the bed is calling you back. Motivation is loud, it screams, it shouts, it pumps you up. But discipline is quiet. Discipline is that little voice that says, get up, do it anyway. When your body says no, when your mind says quit, when life says it's too much, everybody talks about chasing motivation. You want to feel inspired every single day, but I got news for you. Life doesn't care if you're inspired, doesn't care if you're inspired. Life doesn't care if you're in the mood. Life demands consistency. Life demands toughness. Life demands that you show up. Not just when you feel like it, but when you don't. That's what separates the dreamers from the doers, the amateurs from the professionals, the motivated from the disciplined. Discipline is doing what needs to be done, even when you don't want to do it. Discipline says, I don't care how I feel. I don't care if I'm tired, I made a commitment. You made a promise to yourself, not just to grind when it's easy, but to stay in the fight when it's hard. Anybody can be motivated when it's sunny, when everything is clicking. But who are you in the storm? Who are you when it's dark, when it's cold? When nobody is clapping for you, when the progress is slow, when the results aren't coming in. That's where discipline lives. You say you want to be successful, then you better stop waiting for the feeling and start building the habit. You want to get in shape? Stop depending on a hype song to get you in the gym. You want to build a business? Stop waiting for the mood to strike before you get to work. You don't need more inspiration. You need structure. You need repetition. You need routines. You need to stop letting your feelings dictate your future. The truth is, motivation is a spark, but discipline is the firewood, and without the firewood, the spark dies. Motivation is the jump start, but discipline is the engine that keeps it running mile after mile. And discipline is not about intensity. It's about consistency. It's about doing the same small things every day, over and over again, until the breakthrough comes. I'm not where I am today because I stayed motivated. I'm here because I stayed disciplined. There were days I wanted to give up. Days I felt like a failure. Days I questioned my calling, but I showed up anyway. I worked through the pain. I kept grinding through the silence. I kept planting seeds even when I didn't see any fruit. That's what it takes. Some of y'all are sitting there wondering why your life hasn't changed. You're wondering why you're still stuck. It's because every time your motivation dips, your actions stop. You can't build anything like that. You can't build muscle if you only train when you feel good. You can't build wealth if you only save when you're hyped up. You can't build relationships if you only show up when it's convenient. Greatness is not about what you do occasionally. It's about what you do consistently, with discipline, with focus, with grit. So stop chasing the feeling. Stop waiting to be in the mood. Start committing to the mission. Discipline is the ability to keep the promise you made to yourself long after the emotion you felt when you made it is gone. That's real power. That's how you move from average to elite, from potential to purpose. You don't have to be extreme. You just have to be extremely consistent. And that consistency, that's born from discipline, not motivation, not hype. Just that inner drive to do what needs to be done over and over again until your reality catches up with your vision. When you set that goal, you were fired up. When you made that commitment, your energy was high. Your spirit was strong. You stood in front of that mirror and you said, this is it. I'm done playing small. I'm going to change my life. You were ready to grind. You were ready to go all in. But now it's 3 weeks later and that energy is gone. That fire, it faded. That mood you were in when you made the decision, it disappeared. And now it's just you and the work. And this is the moment where most people quit. This is a moment where the average fall back because they thought that fire was enough. They thought that emotion, that moment of hype, that Instagram reel, that motivational video was going to carry them all the way to the finish line. But let me tell you something, it won't. Emotion can't carry you. Passion fades, hype dies. Discipline, that's what endures. Discipline is not sexy, it's not exciting, it's not a highlight reel. Discipline is doing what needs to be done long after the mood is gone, long after the crowd is gone, long after the music stops. It's you versus you versus you. It's 5 a.m. and your alarm's ringing and you don't feel like getting up, but you get up anyway. It's that business plan you said you were gonna write and nobody's asking about it now, but you sit down and grind anyway. It's those 20 pages you say you read, even though your head is spinning and your eyes are heavy. That's discipline. It's doing what you said, not what you feel. Some of y'all need to stop making promises in emotional moments that you ain't willing to keep in real life. Stop saying, I'm gonna change if you're not ready to pay the price, because change don't happen in the moment. Change happens in the decision to honor your word day after day when nobody's watching. You want results. Keep your word even when your feelings change. That's what separates the champions from the chasers. Anybody can chase a dream, but champions build it. They build it brick by brick, word by word, action by action. They do what they said they would do, period. Even if it hurts, even if they're tired, even if nobody claps. You think Kobe was motivated every time he got up at 4 in the morning? You think Serena was excited to train 6 hours a day? You think the greats are running off hype? No, they run off commitment. They run off a promise they made to themselves and refuse to break. The real flex in life isn't talent. It's not passion. It's honor. It's integrity. Can you trust yourself when you say, I'm going to do it? Does it happen? Or are you lying to yourself? Because that's the most dangerous kind of lie. Not the one you tell others, but the one you tell you. Every time you break a promise to yourself, you lose a piece of your confidence. You weaken your belief. But every time you keep a promise, every time you do what you said, even when it's hard, you build strength, you build trust, you build a version of you that's undeniable. I've seen too many people live in cycles because they only move when they're motivated. But the ones who break through, they move on principle. They move on principle. They move on discipline. They say, I don't need to feel it. I'm committed to it. When I made the decision to change my life, I didn't wait on motivation. I built a system. I built structure. I told myself, you made the decision in the light. Now follow through in the dark. It's easy to get hyped about a new goal. It's easy to say this year is my year. But the real question is, can you still say that when it's May and the energy's gone? Can you still say that when the distractions hit, when life punches you in the mouth, when it's not fun anymore? Because that's what discipline is. It's the backbone of every breakthrough. It's the bridge between goals and achievement. You don't get the life you want because you wish for it. You get it because you work for it, regardless of how you feel. Discipline is showing up broken. Discipline is showing up bored. Discipline is showing up defeated, but still showing up is saying, I made a vow, I made a decision, and my feelings don't get to vote anymore. That's how legacies are built. That's how battles are won. Not with emotion, not with motivation, but with that daily, quiet, powerful decision to do exactly what you said long after the mood you set in is gone. Everybody out here wants to shine. Everybody wants to be seen. You want your name in lights. You want the applause, the followers, the recognition, the validation. But let me tell you something. Success says it's sexy. Real success, the kind that lasts, the kind that transforms, the kind that makes you great. It doesn't come from the highlights. It comes from the habits. It comes from doing the same thing, the right thing, over and over again, even when nobody's watching. That's consistency, I know. It's not exciting. It's not flashy. Nobody's clapping for you when you wake up early to study. Nobody's posting it when you do those boring drills, when you say no to distractions, when you do the work behind the scenes. That's the problem. We've got a world obsessed with hype, but allergic to habits. We love to look busy, but we don't love to be consistent. But consistency, that's where the real power is. You don't become great by doing something once. You don't build a legacy off of inspiration. You build it off of repetition. You build it by waking up every single day and doing what needs to be done. Not what's fun, not what's easy, but what's necessary. That's what separates the average from the elite. See, the grind is lonely. The process is repetitive. And yeah, I get it. It can feel boring. You're putting in the work, but you don't see the results right away. You're eating right, training hard, building a business, but there's no spotlight. It feels like nobody notices. But that's the moment where most people quit. They stop because they think nothing's happening. But what they don't realize is everything is happening. Underground. Let me give you a real one. Bamboo, that plant takes years to break the surface of the soil. You water it, nurture it, give it sunlight. And for 5 years, you see nothing. But all the while, under the dirt, roots are forming. A strong foundation is building. And then in a matter of weeks, boom, it shoots up over 80 feet. That's consistency. You've got to be willing to keep showing up even when the surface looks silent. Because under the surface, success is forming. You don't get fit by working out once. You don't become a master by practicing once. You don't win a championship off of one game. You win through repetition, through sweat, through boring, unglamorous, relentless consistency, day after day, hour after hour, even when it's not fun. Especially when it's not fun, because that's what makes you different. Everybody wants the mountaintop, but few are willing to climb daily. You want the result, but are you willing to respect the process? You want the success, but you want the success, but are you willing to endure the silence? Because consistency is quiet. Consistency doesn't scream. It whispers. It builds brick by brick. It's not trying to impress, trying to transform. Look around at the greats, the ones who dominate their field, the ones who walk with discipline, the ones who have built something real. They didn't get there by chasing the next shiny object. They stayed the course. They fell in love with the fundamentals. They understood that the formula doesn't need to be exciting. It just needs to be executed. The enemy of consistency is impatient. You want everything fast. You want to skip the struggle. But hear me, growth takes time. Mastery takes time. Greatness takes time. There's no microwave for excellence. You got to be slow cooked. You got to marinate in the grind. That's the only way to make it stick. People will say you're boring. People will laugh because you're not out partying, because you're reading, because you're up early, because you're focused. Let them laugh. Let them doubt. You just keep showing up. Because when the season shifts, when the results show, when the fruit comes, they won't be laughing. They'll be asking how you did it, and you'll know. You didn't do it once, you did it daily. Consistency beats talent when talent doesn't show up. Consistency beats motivation when motivation runs out. Consistency beats excitement when excitement fades. It's not about what you do when you're fired up. It's about what you do when the fire dies down. Where you keep going when the crowd is gone. Where you keep pushing when the lights are off. Where you keep building when there's no applause. That's what this is about. Anybody can do it once. Few can do it forever. Anybody can start, but only the consistent finish. It's not the fastest that win. It's the ones who don't stop. So whatever your dream is, make peace with the routine. Fall in love with the grind. Accept the boring. Because the boring builds brilliance. Success ain't sexy, but it's earned by showing up, doing the work, honoring the promise to yourself over and over and over again. No excuses, no shortcuts, just consistency. You've got dreams, right? Big dreams. You see the vision. You talk about the goal. You tell your friend, your family, maybe even post it online. You say you want to be successful. You want to start that business, write that book, build that body, graduate with honor, provide for your family, make an impact. And I believe you. I believe your goal is real. But I need you to hear me on this. Them goals don't accomplish themselves. Goals are destinations, but discipline is the bridge that gets you there. You can't just stand on the side of a dream and expect to magically appear on the side of achievement. There's a gap. And that gap is filled with work. That gap is filled with sacrifice. That gap is filled with doing things you don't feel like doing, when the mood is gone, when the hype is dead, when it's just you in the grind. Discipline is what takes your idea and turns it into reality. Let me tell you something. There's nothing wrong with having a goal. But if you're not willing to walk that bridge of discipline every single day, you're not serious about it. Because you can talk big, but if your habits are small, you'll stay stuck. You can dream loud, but if your actions are quiet, you won't move. You can write your goals down in the fanciest journal in the world, but if you don't follow up with execution, it's just ink on paper. Discipline is the price of admission to greatness. Discipline says, I don't care how I feel. I care what I committed to. Discipline wakes you up when the bed is warm and the body is tired. Discipline makes you practice when nobody is watching. Discipline says no to shortcuts, no to temptation, no to quitting, no to blaming, no to excuses. It says yes to responsibility, yes to repetition, yes to mastery. Every single person you admire, every athlete, entrepreneur, speaker, leader, artist, parent, or student who's accomplished something significant, they had to walk the same bridge. They didn't teleport to success. They didn't get there by luck. They got there by making a decision every day, over and over again. A decision to do what needed to be done, even when it was hard, boring, painful, or inconvenient. Thing about this bridge, you can't skip steps. You can't hop on and off when you feel like it. You've got to move forward daily, consistently, purposefully. You got to keep showing up. There's no elevator. There's no escalator. This bridge has steps, and you've got to climb. Discipline is your only ticket across. You don't need more motivation. You don't need more motivation. You don't need more inspiration. You don't need another quote or reel to pump you up. What you need is a system. What you need is structure. What you need is to honor your commitments, especially when your feelings try to lie to you, because your feelings, they're unreliable. They change with the weather. But your purpose, your mission, that stays. And it's the discipline that keeps you moving, even when everything inside you says stop. Let me be real with you. Most people will never cross that bridge. Not because they're not smart, not because they don't have potential, but because they don't have discipline. They don't want to put in the reps. They want results without the process. But greatness doesn't work that way. You got to earn it. And you earn it by outworking your old self, by doing what's necessary when nobody is looking, by building the habits that produce the results. I didn't get here because I was the most talented. I didn't get here because everything was easy. I got here because I committed to crossing that bridge. I crossed it with pain. I crossed it with doubt. I crossed it while crying, while failing, while growing. I crossed it when nobody believed in me. I crossed it when I didn't even believe in myself. But I kept moving, and every step I took in discipline brought me closer to the goal. So whatever you're dreaming about, whatever vision you've got in your heart, understand this. The only thing that's going to get you there is discipline, not talk, not luck, not magic. Discipline, that's the bridge between where you are and where you want to be. So lace up, show up, and walk it. Everybody out here wants to be successful, but too many of us are chasing in the wrong places. You're looking for that big break, that one opportunity, that lucky shot. You think success is this big event, this one-time moment where everything clicks and your life changes. But let me tell you something right now. Success doesn't come from the spotlight. It comes from the shadows. It comes from the stuff you do daily when nobody's watching. Success is not about what you do once in a while. It's about what you do every single day. Your routine is your foundation. Your routine is your weapon. Your routine is your roadmap. You show me a person's daily habits, and I'll show you where they're going in life. You can't have sloppy, inconsistent, lazy routines and expect to live a sharp, consistent, successful life. It doesn't work like that. You want world-class results. You need world-class habits. You think Kobe Bryant became one of the greatest by practicing sometimes? You think Serena Williams became a legend by training when she felt like it? You think Elon Musk builds billion-dollar companies by sleeping in and winging it? Nah. They built routines. They live by structure. They designed their days for greatness. And then they live those days with discipline. Your routine is where success is hidden. It's not glamorous. It's not always fun. It's waking up early when your body says stay in bed. It's hitting the gym when you're tired. It's studying that extra hour when your friends are out partying. It's making that extra call, writing that extra page, practicing that move over and over and over and over. It's the daily grind that builds the long-term reward. And the truth is, your life right now is the sum of your habits, your bank account, your health, your relationships, your mindset. It all comes back to your routine. Don't blame your situation if you're not taking control of your day. Don't talk about your goals if your schedule doesn't match. I don't care what you say you want. I care about what you do daily to prove it. If your dream is big, your routine has to be bigger. If your goal is serious, your discipline has to match it. You can't say you want to be elite, but you sleep like you average. You can't say you want to be successful, but your routine is built on procrastination, distraction, and excuses. Nah, you've got to flip that. You've got to get intentional. You've got to wake up every morning with a plan. Not just what you hope to do, what you will do. And I'm not saying be perfect. I'm not saying never slip. We all fall sometimes. But the key is consistency. One bad day doesn't break you, but a lack of routine will. And once you build that structure, once you build those habits, once you get that momentum going, now you got power. Now you got control. Now you're not waking up reacting to life. You're designing it. You don't rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your system. That's real. Motivation wears off. Excitement fades, but routine, systems, they stay. They carry you. They push you through when you're tired, when you're frustrated, when life hits you in the mouth. That routine becomes your anchor. That routine becomes your consistency. And that consistency becomes your success. So if you're serious about your dream, look at your routine. What time are you waking up? What are you feeding your mind? How are you spending your first hour? Are you built or are you wasting time? Are you focused or are you distracted? Are you showing up for your goals like they matter? Because how you spend your days is how you live your life. Change doesn't happen by accident. It happens by routine. Growth doesn't happen by luck. It happens by routine. Greatness doesn't happen in the big moments. It's born in the small ones. Repeated with excellence over time. You want success? Build it into your day. Want growth? Schedule it. Want mastery? Make it a habit. Success isn't found in what you do occasionally. Success is found in your daily routine. Every day is a chance to get better. Every routine is a vote for the person you want to become. So ask yourself right now, is your routine leading you to success or holding you back? Everybody talks about goals. Everybody's got them. I want to be successful. I want to be rich. I want to be in the best shape of my life. I want to start a business, make $1 million, retire my parents. I hear it all the time, but I'm here to tell you the truth that nobody wants to hear. Goals are not enough. I'm not saying don't dream big. I'm not saying don't write your vision. You need that. But I am saying this. You don't rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your systems. Goals are the destination. Systems are the vehicle. Goals are the dream. Systems are the daily actions that get you there. If your systems are weak, your dream is just a fantasy. If your systems aren't built to match your goals, it doesn't matter how loud you scream or how bad you want it, you won't get there. That's not negativity, that's reality. You see, we love the excitement of a goal. It feels good to declare it. It feels good to say, this year, I'm gonna transform my body. Or this year, I'm gonna double my income. We get high off that vision. But when the newness fades, when the pain hits, when the sacrifice shows up, that's when most people fall. Why? Because their systems weren't strong enough to support the dream. Let me break it down. You say you want to write a book, but do you have a writing schedule? You say you want to save money, but is there a system in place to track your expenses, reduce your spending, increase your income? You say you want to be healthy. You have a plan for your meals, your workouts, your sleep. See, don't just want it, work for it. And that work isn't random. It's built into systems. I know some of you are thinking, but E.T., I've got drive, I've got fire, and I love that. I like all that. But fire burns out without fuel. Drive fades without direction. Emotion gets tired. Systems don't. You can't rely on how you feel every day. You need structure. You need rhythm. You need process. That's how you keep moving when motivation disappears. You look at the greats, the best in the world. Oh, you think they're different from you? Nah. They build different systems, systems that serve them, systems that push them, systems that hold them accountable even on the days they feel weak. And those systems create habits, and those habits shape destiny. When I was homeless, I didn't have time for wishful thinking. I couldn't afford to hope for success. I had to build routines. I had to get disciplined. I had to structure my life so that every single day I was climbing, even if it was slow. I got up early. I studied when others were sleeping. I spoke in front of 3 people like it was 3,000. That wasn't by accident, it was a system. Consistency wasn't a move, it was a mission. And here's the hard truth. If your systems are built around comfort, you will always default to comfort. If your systems are built around shortcuts, you will never develop character. If your systems are weak, your results will be weak, period. You're not going to magically rise to the occasion. You're going to default to what you've been doing daily. So what does that mean for you? It means stop just setting goals and start designing systems. You want to be a leader? Build a routine that forces you to learn, to grow, to serve. You want to be financially free? Build a budget. Automate your saving. Create streams of income. You want to be spiritually strong? Schedule your prayer. Get in your word. Surround yourself with accountability. Make it a lifestyle, not a lecture. Every system you build is a step toward your destiny, and every broken or neglected system is a crack in the foundation. You can't patch it with a motivation. You can't cover it with hype. It has to be built on purpose, with discipline, with consistency. And hear me, I'm not saying it's easy. Systems take time. Systems take sacrifice. But what's harder? Building a solid system or living with regret because your dreams never got off the ground? What's tougher? Creating habits that elevate you or drifting through life wondering why nothing ever worked out. Don't be the person with a vision board full of dreams and a life full of excuses. Be the one who designs systems so tight, so consistent, that success becomes inevitable. You don't need more inspiration. You need implementation. You don't need more hype. You need habits. You don't need to set more goals. You need to build better systems. Because at the end of the day, when pressure hits, when life gets heavy, when everything's on the line, you don't rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your systems. So build systems that won't let you fall.